Today, I'm watching the Twilight Zone Season 1, Episode 30, which feels weird to say. Usually, seasons don't have 30 episodes. At most, they have 22, but I know this is a shorter episode, so I'm definitely glad that there's more episodes. I've really enjoyed this series so far, so curious to see where we're going to go in this episode. The last episode was about this child version of Helen, who shows up to, trigger some memories as Peter, this person who had killed her mom, shows back up in her life, and she had, as an adult, blocked out all of those situations and wasn't remembering anything. So that was really interesting. I love memory and that kind of concept for a theme for an episode. This episode, we know, is about a train car state of mind, something about transportation and Willoughby, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, very curious to see where we're going to go in this episode. Really enjoying this series. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content.
I want Jake Ross's secretary, please.
I was like, the phone didn't even ring. So yeah, who's he calling?
You're Mr. Ross.
I'm trying to get him right now, sir.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I like when we do more like urban settings as well, like this big city.
All right, check around. Call Sardi's East or the Colony and tell him to get himself over here in a hurry.
Are those bars, I'm guessing? I'm not too sure. Oh, he seems unwell. Yeah, he seems like stressed or nervous. He was tapping his pen, yeah. Or his pencil.
All four of them. He was too young to put on this account. I told you that, Williams. I kept telling you that.
Are they like an ad agency? Like, that's kind of the first thing that came to mind, was like a Mad Men vibe with this, ad account. Okay, interesting.
Sense of it very quickly, Mr. Misro. This is Jake Ross's resignation. He's moving over to another agency.
Oh, he got poached. Oh, shoot. Taking that account with him, I guess.
Automobile account with him.
That account represented a gross billing of something in the neighborhood of $3 million a year.
Which in the 60s, I'm sure, is just quadrupled by now.
Get with it, boy.
And no music either, just makes the silence like even more deafening.
You should know it better than anyone else. A push, push, push business, Williams. It's push, push, push.
And going for the close-up, this poor guy's gonna have a heart attack. Yeah, close-up on him just being yelled at in front of everybody.
Boy, why don't you shut your mouth?
Yeah, he's had enough. He's like, stop yelling at me. Oh my gosh. Well, I think that's your last day, bud.
Yeah. A sharp razor and a chart of the human anatomy showing where all the arteries are.
Oh my god, that's grim. That's so grim. But yeah, like this high-pressure job, this high-stakes job, he takes a risk, and it didn't work out, and yeah, oh my gosh.
This is Gart Williams, age 38.
Not 36, huh?
We'll move into the Twilight Zone in a desperate search for survival.
Is he gonna run away? Based on the comments he made, it doesn't sound like he wants to continue. I don't imagine he's gonna have a job there for much longer also, so...
Earlier than it ever has.
Well, that's the way of the world. The rich get richer, and the days get shorter.
Sad but true, sad but true. Yeah, and like this storm outside, compare that to how he's feeling as well, and it's just this very like doom and gloom, like he's not... Mentally, doesn't feel like he's doing well. That was a cool way to show the transition. Yeah, like the blinds are different. Yeah, this is definitely not the car he fell asleep, or the train car that he fell asleep on. He's entered the Twilight Zone. I'm guessing early 1900s. He's gone back in time. Yeah. Based on the guy playing with the giant hoop, which, I mean, how could that not be a good time?
And look at it outside. The sun is out. It's summer.
That's what she is. Mid-July. A real warm one, too.
Yeah, not only has he changed seasons, but he's gone back in time.
It's Willoughby right outside. Willoughby. July. Summer. It's 1888.
Oh, I was way off. 1888. Okay, here we go.
Where a man can slow down to a walk and live his life full measure. Willoughby.
It's reminding me a little bit of the episode we had where the guy walks back to his hometown and ends up going back in time and like meeting his parents as an adult. Maybe a slower, like, paced life is what he needs. You know, not as much pressure, not as much stress. Oh. What? And now he's back? Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's so cool. I'm really enjoying this episode so far.
And what are your plans for this evening?
Well, she seems happy. That's a cool decanter, though.
Before I left the office, he has found it in that great, oversized heart of his to forgive.
He's lying?
This gracious gentleman will allow me to continue in his employ because he's such a human-type fella.
I don't think that's what happened, but,
Pathetic additional reason that if I were to go to a competitive agency, I might possibly take a lot of business with me.
Okay, I can see that. But yeah, obviously his wife is not happy.
Or rich communities they don't feel comfortable in. Or country clubs they wear around their neck like a badge of status.
Performances are so good. But yeah, he feels out of place here.
Very uncompetitive, rather dull, quite uninspired, average-type guy.
Yeah, he seems to, like, not even enjoy his job.
And just where would you be if it weren't for my appetite?
I know where I'd like to be.
And to hear him talk about how he feels going to his job, putting on this act. Oh, yes.
Well, tell me about your dream guard.
It's an odd dream.
This angle feels like a therapy session. Yeah.
My miserable, tragic error to get married to a man whose big dream in life is to be Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah, it definitely feels like she wants somebody more ambitious, and he's like, that's not me. And yeah, the performances, again, are so amazing. And his speech about putting on a mask and going to work. And even just the shot of him alone sitting on the stairs like this.
Life full measure. That's what he said. That's what that conductor said.
I think he's going to try and go back. I don't know if he'll be able to, but...
For a man can live his life full measure.
He's obviously not happy in his life, and, you know, once this, like, he's not competitive, sales is not cut out for him, obviously. Yeah, he's gonna try and go back.
Probably was. Stamford, next stop. Next stop, Stamford.
And I think this is the first time we've seen someone, I know he doesn't know it's the Twilight Zone, but, like, usually if someone goes back in time, they don't get a second chance at it, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to. But clearly he wants to go. Sometimes it's people go back in time and they don't have a choice, obviously. I'm not sure how he can stay in this dream, like what's going to happen to him in like present day. But yeah, I'm very curious. I'm really enjoying this episode.
Conductor! Conductor!
You gotta jump. You gotta jump. You're the only one on the train. Yeah, now's your chance. Oh my gosh.
Conductor! Conductor!
You all right, Mr. Williams?
Oh my gosh. He was back and then this poor guy can't even get to, like, in his dreams, go to this place.
I'm going to get off at Willoughby.
That's such a cool shot, like the overlay of the snow outside, the reflection in the mirror. I love, or the reflection in the window.
Push, push. Of course, sir. Now it's gotta be bright, Williams. Push, push, push. That's the kind of a show the client will like.
He's like, I need a drink. Like, this boss is making me crazy. Oh.
And aspire. Dream big and then get behind it. Push, 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 push. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start hating the word push after this episode. Oh my god, he's driving me nuts. 2 phones.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Misro seemed very insistent. Mr. Williams!
This poor guy is just so overwhelmed. So yeah, like 2 phone calls, the secretary is talking to him all at once. Yeah, it's very overwhelming. Oh, where are we going in the mirror?
Push, 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 Williams.
This guy's not doing well. He's cracked. He's got to get out of here. He needs a vacation or a permanent trip to Willoughby because, yeah, he's not doing well. I also think he has, like, an ulcer. Like, he keeps grabbing his stomach. Something's going on.
Janie, will you help me, please? Will you please help?
Oh, my heart. This poor guy. He's literally asking. She hung up on him. Oh my gosh. He's I don't want to say at the end of your rope, but I feel like that might lead to some things in this episode, but he is just done. And he genuinely seemed like he loved her. He genuinely seemed like he wanted her help, and she hung up on him.
Stop, Stanford. Next stop is Willoughby.
I love it. He's wide awake. He's like, yep. The smile on his face. I think the only time we've seen him smile this whole episode is when he's in Willoughby. Yeah, he's like, I don't need this anymore. And that the conductor's waiting for him. The previous few times he's just walked away. Maybe he realizes now he's finally ready. Yeah, he's not coming back for that.
Catch some big ones today, huh? I think tomorrow I'll join you.
Plenty of room and lots of fish.
Yeah, he just wants the simple things in life. He just wants to hang out. He doesn't want the high pressure job. He wants to go fishing. And that they already knew his name too was interesting. Yeah, I just called him by his name.
Just jumped off the train, did he?
Oh my gosh.
Something about Willoughby, then ran out to the platform, and that was the last I saw him.
Oh my gosh.
Died instantly. They're going to take him into town for an autopsy.
My heart. I knew there had to be a twist coming. It's the Twilight Zone. And I was, wondering what was going to happen to him in present day. Even if he just fell asleep on the train, someone would wake him up. But he died. That's sad. Or is he still alive in Willoughby? Oh, it's a funeral home name. Oh my gosh, this is afterlife. Yeah.
Man like Mr. Gart Williams, who climbed on a world that went by too fast. It's a place around the bend where he could jump off.
And I having that long exposure over both of what Willoughby is and the sign. So that was my first time watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 30. That was one of my favorite episodes of the season, which is saying something because there's been so many good episodes this season, and yeah, definitely one of my favorites. So well done. I loved everything about this. I thought there's a lot you can pull apart from this. There's a lot you can analyze, which is one of my favorite parts about this show, is there's pieces there if you want to deep dive into it, but it's also just a good story if you just want to be, entertained for half an hour. Also, I apologize, I don't have air conditioning and it is very hot outside where I live currently, and I can't have the fans on because it's loud, so I have my ice pack. If you see an ice pack in some of the shots, that's what that is. But yeah, this episode was so well done, and the performance, again, I just felt like this person was, exactly this character. I fully believed him, and to see him struggle, at work and, at home, and he doesn't seem to have any close relationships. He doesn't mention any friends really, not a huge cast in this episode, but I like that we got to focus on Gart and his performance and his story, and yeah, so well done. And it felt so relatable, which is, again, one of the things I love about this show, is that even though it took place, this came out in 1960, it still felt like a storyline that would be applicable today, which to me, is the mark of a great show. It doesn't need, crazy effects. It doesn't need all of these, kind of bells and whistles, but if you have just a really solid story, and yeah, I really love this episode, even though it did have a darker ending. Obviously, we find out he's passed away in real life, but is he really gone? I think you could make the argument that he is, his spirit, his soul, whatever you want to call it, is alive in Willoughby. I was wondering how they were going to play it, because I was like, if he falls asleep on the train, which we had seen previously, he just wakes up and then continues on with his current life. And I was like, okay, if he makes it off the train, if somebody wakes him up, does he just keep getting constantly pulled back? And like I said, this is one of the first times I think we've seen somebody try to actively go back in time. It did remind me of a previous episode we had where somebody was plucked from the past, 1880s again, and brought back to the future. and then didn't really have a choice in the matter. And it also reminded me of another episode where this guy ends up going back to his hometown, and again, this summer idyllic, it wasn't the 1800s, but just that feeling, that's what I was getting. And even the seasons being different, you could take a lot out of that as well. But to see this guy actively trying to get back there and get back there, like it's this place, and even that's what he was saying as he walked off the train at the end, saying the name of this town, Willoughby, as he's unfortunately, killing himself in real life, even though he's asleep, even though he's asleep on the train, in his mind, he's in Willoughby in the past. And unfortunately, he does pass away. But I think for this character, I don't know where he was going to go. He was really struggling and asking for help, and having his wife reject it was so painful. And he doesn't have that support group. And I know it was different times, and this high pressure job. And again, the weather, the winter, we associate winter with cold and kind of dreary and maybe a bit depressing. It's dark and you can't really, you're kind of very closed in, as opposed to summer or being outside in the sunshine, and just that kind of nostalgic feeling too, that you're out of school if you're a kid in summer, and maybe you have summer holidays and vacations and stuff like that. So I really like that. Not only did they change the time, I figured it was early at 1900s, but they said it was the 1880s, if I'm remembering correctly. And going back to this simpler life, because that's exactly what he wants. Like, he doesn't want to continue to put on this mask, as he describes, and clock in 9 to 5 and pretend to be this guy to live up to this societal pressure that that's what you have to do, and go get a good job and buy a fancy house. And he's even talking to the little kids like he just wants to go fishing. And I think I'm just realizing now that everybody in Willoughby is dead, because how else would they get there? Which definitely makes it a little bit sadder. But also, if you want to look at it, that's one approach, or you could look at it as this idyllic, afterlife situation. I think when Gart got on the train, even the multiple times before he got off, I think knew that this was a place that was more his speed and more his style. And, when he finally commits to saying, yes, like, I want to go to this place, like, actively, he doesn't take his briefcase because he's not going to need it. Like, and again, the conductor was waiting for him, where in previous shots, the conductor had walked away. Maybe it's because he wasn't actually ready. Maybe he just wanted to test it out. And yeah, I thought maybe we were going to do a time travel situation, which it definitely feels like a little bit of that, but also this, afterlife as he passes away, and then to have that funeral home door close and have that double exposure of a Willoughby, in the background, and then the funeral, door closing with the name over top was really well done. And even that shot of his reflection looking out the train window and the snow falling, and just some really creative shots in this, and having that scene in the bathroom where he's looking in the mirror and seeing his boss's face pop up 3 times, push, 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 like scolding him, and just, I felt overwhelmed for him. And even the stylistic shots they used with the close-up of his eyes and the close-up of his mouth yelling at him. And even if the whole episode starts with somebody supposed to show up for this meeting, they're not there. Even if that person had shown up, I don't think Gart, it seems like he was already at the edge. He was mentally, it doesn't feel like he was doing well. It felt like he was physically unwell. He kept grabbing his stomach. Like, clearly the stress of this was having a very big effect on him. And heartbreaking to have that scene where he calls his wife asking for help, because typically if people ask for help, they've needed help for a while, and he's finally at that point. And I'm sure it wasn't easy for him to ask for help either. And she hangs up on him. It was just such a tough scene to see, because I genuinely felt like he really did care about her. We have seen some tumultuous relationships in the show before, but it genuinely felt like he really wanted, this to work. He cared about her. She's the only person he reaches out to for help, and just that immediate rejection, I think, was devastating. And I think that's, the final reason he's like, okay, I'm getting out of here. I don't think he knows that Willoughby is going to be, going to lead to him dying. I don't think that's it, but I think he just knows whatever it takes, he wants to go to that place. And obviously we see that in the real life, that does mean that he dies, but he does seem really happy. And, he's talking to the kids about going fishing, and the conductor mentioning on the maps that these places don't exist. He's gone back as far as he could. But again, it's the Twilight Zone. Like, I definitely didn't anticipate that twist ending. I figured it was more time travel. I thought maybe they would do a reveal where present day they would just see his coat on the train or find his briefcase, or like I thought maybe that's where we were gonna go, but I wasn't expecting just, you know, tie a bow on it and be a happy ending with him walking off to Willoughby and that's it. I figured there had to be a twist. I was also thinking maybe Willoughby is a bit of a trap. Maybe it's not as idyllic as it sounds. When they first see the body, I thought, oh, did he die in Willoughby? Like, you know, he's found this idyllic place, but it, you know, rejects him or something. Like I was trying to piece it together, but to find out that it's him in present day. And again, the different conductors and the different times, and a really, really great episode. I really enjoyed it. And using the trains as kind of our portal to present day and to Willoughby, and as soon as they pull back and reveal that train, you immediately know that that's not a present day train or even a 1960s train. Like, it looks so different, the wood and everything. And yeah, I really like that they used that for a transition. And I was like, are we doing a dream themed episode? Because he only visits this place when he's asleep. And yeah, a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. Performances were amazing. That speech about him at work and the pressure he feels and how he feels so out of place, you know, at work and at home, like he doesn't feel comfortable anywhere. And even thinking back to our episode with, you know, we have time now and the reader, at least he found joy in reading. There was that little escape. And I think a theme you could take from this episode is a theme of escapism as well, because I'm sure there are lots of people who are trapped in a job that they don't like, don't want to go in every day, you know, dread it, have a boss that's maybe, you know, not the greatest, and maybe not have great relationships, and, you know, wanting that escape, wanting to hopefully just get on a train and end up somewhere new one day. And not saying that they, you know, have the grim ending that we did, but, you know, that feeling of escapism I also feel like is relatable. And again, for a show that came out such a long time ago, that still resonates. But yeah, that scene where he's giving the speech about his job, it was just one of my favorites of the episode, because again, just felt like it could have been, you know, written yesterday. To have the voiceover about his self-worth and his insecurities, and we didn't have a ton of music in that opening scene, which I felt like emphasized how intense it was, and the silence, you felt like you were in the room, like you felt like, oh, the pressure, like, let's hope this guy shows up, like you just felt it really helped put the audience, you know, in that boardroom, in that seat. You know, you could feel the tension of just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then of course, you know, the boss yelling at him. But yeah, really love this episode. There was no next time on the Twilight Zone, so I have no idea what the next episode is about, but thank you so much for sharing and this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Based on the guy playing with the giant hoop, which, I mean, how could that not be a good time? Yeah, he seems to, like, not even enjoy his job. This angle feels like a therapy session, yeah. I also think he has, like, an ulcer, like, he keeps grabbing his stomach, something's going on. And that they already knew his name, too, was interesting. Yeah, I just called him by his name. Yeah, he just wants, like, the simple things in life.